Hi guys, Mark here. How you doing? Just make some room here so I can talk to you. Welcome to the channel. This is Mark My Words, where we help people fast track a comeback from a serious life setback. So if you've had a setback in life, either a financial or long-term relationship setback, you've found the right channel. Today's video, I'm going to walk you through a timeline of what happened to me at 42 years of age, and just give you some kind of perspective of how long it takes to rebuild, or at least how long it took me to rebuild. Now, this is just my story, and you're going to have your own story, okay? Because if you've had a serious life setback, either financial or relationship setback, and it's knocked the wind out of your sails, you feel like you've had a kick in the teeth, it's come at you from left field, you have no clue of how or why it happened to you, the shock factor can take a while to overcome. The good news is, though, you will overcome it. There's no doubt about that. So let me just grab a couple of markers here. I want to show you on the whiteboard what happened to me, and to give you some hope around the fact that you can make a mighty comeback in your life. Your best days are ahead, I believe that, so just excuse me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Have my markers, have my whiteboard. All right, so this is what happened to me back in 2008. It was an interesting time, right? I was 42 years of age. I was married. I'd been married almost 20 years at that time, and I had 3 beautiful children in 2008. I've got 4 today, but that's another story. But they were roughly around, let me think, 2008, they were 14, 13, and 11. All right, so, and what happened with me was the GFC hit, and you might relate to this, right? For your situation, you know, something happened to you that was out of your control, right? I mean, the GFC I had no control over. I should have been probably more in tune to what was happening on world markets at the time, but again, that was lack of experience. And so, what happened with me? I was, you know, I sort of started out in my working career, and my confidence level was growing day by day. I got to 40 years of age, and I thought, you know, I was doing okay financially, emotionally. I felt my confidence in my own capacity was quite high. And then what happened was, at 42 years of age, I fell off the emotional well-being. This is what I call well-being confidence cliff, right? Because what happened, as you may or may not know, the GFC hit in September 2008, and just before my 43rd birthday, and a couple of weeks later, my marriage blew up as well, and it was a really tough time. So, at 42 years of age, my confidence had plummeted. It had gone from a lifetime high at that point to within a matter of days started to decline, and then it got to a stage where as I went more and more into this cycle of almost like depression or just shock of what had happened to me. You know, prior to what happened to me, I'd built businesses, I'd built family, I had 3 pretty awesome kids. I thought I was like doing okay as a dad and as a husband, and as a business owner, and I thought I had a few things worked out. So my confidence level was quite, you know, healthy. Not egotistical, not ahead of myself, but I felt like, you know, I'd had a few things figured out. And then what happened to me happened in 2008, and my confidence and overall well-being fell off the chart, right? So I went on a slippery slope. And so, you know, I was actually at a point where I was, you know, worse off. I was in the red emotionally and in my well-being for quite some time. I actually, you know, my business blew up. I had, you know, everyone. I came home camping one weekend after a short time after that happened, and I come home to an empty house. I'm not sure if you've ever had an empty house in your life, where you walk into your home and you expect to see it full of things that you own and people who you know, being your family, and no one was there and nothing was there. So that was an interesting time. So things that happened to me that really challenged me emotionally. I lost my confidence. I lost my capacity to actually make a decision, and it was a tough time, you know. And so I started to take some temporary pain relief program, I called it. It consisted of, alcohol, the occasional cigarette, locking myself away from the outside world, overthinking things, finding other people who had been through a tough time as well but had no answers, and they were anything but healthy. I found these people in the pubs and bars, and people that had a severe life setback happen to them that were still really wounded but had no real desire to rebuild. They'd kind of given up, right? And I was associating with these sort of guys, and not bad people, just they had no idea of how to rebuild their life. And I was desperate to rebuild eventually. I mean, I got to a point where after about 12 months at 43 years of age, I said to myself here that I remember waking up one day in bed after being up all night, not able to sleep because the relentless anxiety was unbearable, and lying in bed thinking to myself, you know what, I can't keep living like this. If I keep living like this, I'm either going to end up worse off. This is the fork in the road that I was in, and I wasn't sure where that was going to end up. In fact, that was really scary, that thought. Or the other fork I could take was to rebuild. And so I decided, thankfully, by the grace of God, to get up off the canvas and rebuild my life. Just like you are going to make a decision sooner or later to get up off the canvas and rebuild your life. All right. Now, you might not be ready to make that decision just yet, because I wasn't ready to make that decision for quite a while, because I had to try and get my head around what had actually happened to me, and I wasn't very good at doing that. But eventually I made that decision at this point here. And so eventually then I started to not drink as much. I made a decision to get healthy. I started running. I started to look at ways I could improve my capacity, my earning capacity, by upskilling certain areas of my life. I looked at ways of getting my confidence back. I started to read material and listen to content from people who were speaking life into where I was at that time. I wrote down what I wanted, right? I wrote down where I was at financially and what I had to do to get back to where I wanted to be. So all these things that I started to do proactively to help me get my head right so I could start to make positive steps forward. And over time, eventually, around 45, and when I was, this is in 2014, so now I'm 49 years of age. About this time here, I met Kate. I think it was around about here. So I was on the rebuilding journey. Let's make that blue. And I met Kate around here. And if I had met Kate when I was down here, she may have turned on her heels and ran the other way. But because I'd done some work and started to rebuild, and and head back and get my confidence back and start to implement some habits in my life that were helping me to rebuild my confidence. When Kate walked into my life, I don't know, she saw something in me, I'm not sure what, but it was enough for her and I to, be married in 2014, and here we are, 6 years later, having a ball, right? Having a great life. I've rebuilt my life back to beyond where it was prior to the setback happening. I'm more confident in my own ability today than I was previous, and we're in a better position in all areas, physically, mentally, financially, in all areas. So the good news in that for you is that you can do the same, right? You can rebuild your life, but you have to recognize where you are on this life journey. Now, I call it a life journey because that's what it is. It's a lesson, right, for you. I don't want to simplify it or minimize the impact of what's happened to you, but in time you'll look back and go, you know what? I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, but what I've learnt through it and who I've become in the process of overcoming it, there's no amount of money that you could give to become that person, because who you will become in the process of rebuilding is a much more resilient, stronger, relatable, compassionate version of you. And so that then applied to your next adventure, financially, physically, with your career, with your family, with your new wife or husband one day, perhaps, and your children, if you have them, is only awesome in terms of the level of relationship you'll have. So the good news in it is that regardless of where you are on this timeline, recognize that it's a season you're in, okay? Because you'll get to a point where you'll start to make that decision. This is a decision here. The decision is, I'm going to get up off the canvas, I'm going to rebuild my life, okay? Whatever it takes, by hook or by crook. And you're probably here on this video channel today on YouTube looking for some answers around rebuilding. Well, let me tell you this, you've found the right channel. In the descriptions panel below, I've got some free resources for you that will add value to your comeback journey. One of them is my 10 breakthrough steps. These are 10 breakthrough steps that I took to help me fast track my comeback, to help me rebuild. You apply those to your life and they'll help you add value to your rebuilding journey as well. I'm absolutely have no doubt about that. There is another link in the descriptions panel below to my free webinar. It's called Rebuild Your Life Webinar. Have a look at that. Just sit through it, take notes on it, because you apply what I talk about on that webinar. Again, it will help you fast track your comeback, okay? And there is a commitment at the end of that webinar that you can take to partner with me and allow me to be your coach or mentor to help you fast track that comeback. So sit on that webinar right to the end and you'll be able to see that opportunity for you. But regardless of what you do from here on in, know that your best days are ahead. They are absolutely your best days are ahead. As much pain as you're in right now, as much heartbreak as you might be experiencing, some things from your past will never be the same. But the good news is, and this is the hard thing to understand right now, this is the hard thing to even see in your mind's eye. But I want to encourage you that if you have the courage to actually, make a decision to get up, make that decision, and then start to focus, right? Lift your eyes. Lift your eyes. Your eyes have to be on the prize, right? This is where your vision for your future, start to create that in your own mind's eye. So you're going to create a vision through looking at what you want and writing it down, committing it to paper, right? But that's on another video, which I'll point you to in a moment. So it might be in one of the links here on the screen, okay, where you can start to then accurately forecast or at least plan what your future will be like across the key areas of your life, the 5 key areas I call them. So faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. You determine what you want in those key areas of your life without really knowing how it's going to happen just yet. So if you got some value from this video, right, subscribe to the channel. Connect with me via this channel. Connect with me via those couple of free resources that I have in the descriptions panel. Connect with my private Facebook group and you'll begin a journey of your mighty comeback today. So hope this has added some value to your life today. Hope you can join me on the next video, which is coming up very soon. And until then, stay strong. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.